Hello and welcome back to the X-Files Revisited. We are on to episode 11 of season 4, which is El Mundo Gira, which translates as The World Turns. See, did my homework.
Well done. I'm glad one of us did.
Yeah, typed several letters into Google Translate. Job done. So, it's called El Mundo Gira, or as you like to call it, the worst episode ever made in the entire X-Files. Of the 217 episodes, this is 217th on your list. And of course, you're the X-Files expert here, so I didn't know that going into it. Took your word for it. Yeah, and as quite rightly, your head is in your hands.
So, memory, guys, is a tricky thing.
Can I just say, my favourite part about that story you told the last time was that you've actively avoided this episode.
I have.
For decades.
I've actively avoided this episode for decades. And I know that at the most, I'd only ever seen this twice before watching it again this time. I don't even think it was, I think I've only seen this once before, and I think my entire memory of it hinges on maybe a tired viewing of the episode or something. I don't know what went on, but I'll say this right up front now. This is not the worst episode ever made. No. Not even close. Not by a long stretch. Now, is it one of the best episodes ever made? No, it's not either. But it's so far from being the worst episode ever made that it just makes me look like a nut job after the comments that I've repeatedly stated on this show. But
yeah, well, I mean, I think if you look back to your statement, it was just your memory was just wrong because you had this as a fully subtitled episode where Mulder and Scully were barely in it, and we followed a woman as she was on the run or something. So, there we go. Don't trust memory.
It's just you can't trust memory. If you have memories of something from when you were a child or when you were a teenager, and you'd only seen it once, you owe it to yourself to go back and watch it before you state an opinion. Because honestly, I do not remember Mulder and Scully being in this at all. I felt like they were in one scene and then it went off on some weird tangent and just became this kind of foreign language, like 45 minutes about 45 minutes thing about immigration. I was just bored. So this has always been held to me as the worst episode I've made, and now I have to eat humble pie because it is not. I was wrong. This is now fact. But yeah, okay. So the thing is, do X-Files fans on IMDb agree with old me, or do they agree with new me? That's the question. 217 episodes. Where do you think this sits in the IMDb ranking?
Well, as an X-Files expert like yourself, I think a lot of people, maybe they have a similar memory as you. I think I'll go for 163.
163.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out most X-Files fans on IMDb seem to be more in line with the old me, because this actually sits at 205.
Wow.
Yes. Now, maybe when I was in my teenage years, I was just simply a racist sod. I don't know, but it seems people don't like episodes about immigration. But I apologise to the world.
Still aliens, really.
Yeah.
So we dive into this one then, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay, so they open up to the start of a woman telling a tale. You'll never believe this. It's a shocking tale to be told, and it kind of leads into this, episode's theme, where it's all about like local mysteries or tales that people tell that take on lives of their own, and we get to see this kind of immigration shanty town almost, where we have this young woman Maria who's with her boyfriend talking to talking to him. He goes away, and then the next boyfriend comes round the corner and starts talking to her. These are the two brothers.
Yeah.
Is it El Mundo and
Soledad.
Soledad?
Something
and,
like that. Yeah, Soledad.
and Emilio or something like that.
Yeah,
These two
yeah,
brothers.
yeah.
So Soledad goes away on the truck to work. Maria and Emilio go to chase goats. That's not a euphemism. And then we get a bright white light and yellow rain.
Yep.
And then we get to see that Maria is dead. No eyes, lips are eaten away, and Mr. Fungus has disappeared.
It's gnarly. It's quite
Yeah.
gnarly. The close up of her face when her eyes are missing and the teeth showing, it's just like, oh, blimey. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
Like much of this episode, to be perfectly honest. It's a fairly intriguing opening, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? What caused that kind of face decay?
Yeah. Within basically like a minute or so, it was pretty quick for that to happen.
It was a few seconds, really, weren't it? But as we will see later on in the episode, a lot can seemingly happen in a few seconds.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
So it should be said that next to Maria is also a dead goat. So after the intro, we jump back into the scene and we see that Scully is looking at the goat.
Yeah, because obviously this episode is centered on El Chupacabra, which is a Mexican folklore, and it's known as the goat sucker. So it's basically a vampire-esque creature, but it lives on goats.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what this sequence is. We get to, it's the exposition sequence, where Mulder's pretty much filling in Scully on what's happened. And there's a kind of comment about these people are immigrants. Nobody really cares about them. Yeah. You even get the scene where they walk into the shantytown. Everybody just starts running away from them.
Which is quite funny because there's like none of them should actually be there. They're all there because they're just sitting on the border where they can like pick up work from dodgy people who are coming along trying to get slave labour.
Yeah. And they just all scatter until they eventually meet. Is it Maria's mother?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who? I think.
Yeah. No, isn't it the boy's mother?
The boy's mother. I didn't pick it up. I wasn't sure 100%. I knew it was somebody's mother.
I think she's the mother of the two boys. Isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she kind of tells the tale of the Chupacabra. And you can kind of see like Mulder getting all excited.
And Scully rolling her eyes.
Yeah.
And then that's when the seemingly sensible son, until he goes on his Liam Neeson style cycle of vengeance. He's like the only one in the crowd. He's like, it's complete BS. My brother killed her, and I'm going to avenge her death. And so he's off on one. Scully's like, there you go.
Yeah.
Clear as day.
And you can almost see like Mulder in the background rolling his eyes, going,
like likely story.
Which is great. So then we get to we get to meet Ruben Blade's character, an agent for the immigration services.
Yeah. A character that throughout this episode I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And just don't remember at all. Now, where have I seen this guy?
Oh, he's in loads of things. But there's something, and I can't remember off the top of my head where it was, but there's something.
He wasn't in Predator 2, was he?
Possibly, but I'm sure I've seen him in another TV show where he was one of the main characters.
Right. He's got a familiar looking face, and I can't think where I've seen him, but I know I've seen the brother, El Chupacabra guy. I've seen him in, wasn't he like Clear and Present Danger or something like that? He played a soldier, but I've seen him in a few things. He was making films and TV appearances around the same time that Michael Pena kind of started showing his face on TV and stuff. And I often got the two confused, to be honest, until I became quite a fan of Michael Pena and then realised, yeah, these two guys are just definitely not the same.
Yeah,
But
it definitely was in Predator 2, Brian.
he was.
Yes.
Oh, right, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think he's the cop that gets killed by the Predator.
But he's instantly just like, because I think Mulder brings up Chupacabra, hoping that this guy's going to be like, yeah, let me tell you all about it. And he's just like, a load of nonsense.
Yeah.
There's
There's a faint whiff when we first meet this guy. There's a faint whiff of the immigration officer in Tellico, and I started to roll my eyes. Where I'm like, oh, I can see where this is going. This is going to be, and it didn't. I liked this guy. I liked his kind of blasé attitude to life, and like. Yeah. The shock, actually, that there's even FBI agents here looking for this guy, because it's like these people are like people the FBI really don't concern themselves with on any regular basis. So,
and it's all the way through the episode as well. They keep trying to give him an out. You know, well, that's done. Yeah. Mulder's like, no. So we jump to the kind of autopsy scene with Scully looking for the body of Maria. Yeah. And we get this this other character who we never see her face or that, but she's great. Just like and Scully just walks in. I don't think she checks any credentials. She's just like, I'm a medical examiner, and the woman's just like, the fridge is over there.
Yeah. I like Scully's comment when she's like, I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. And it's like, in other words, get off your ass and come and give me a hand. But it just shows you the world that they live in, or the world that we're being brought into, which is, again, it's that theme that runs throughout of these are people that no one cares about, and if one goes missing, no one's going to know. Yeah. So it's like the local pathologist there, the local autopsy person, they live their life in that vein. Like the person they're examining, it doesn't even matter that they're examining him, because whoever's killed this person isn't going to get found. So they're just doing this mundane routine job that's probably never going to amount to anything, because nobody cares about finding killers of Mexicans. Yeah. And I think that's kind of what this attitude from her is really all about.
Yeah, right, 100%. And you get the first of many like elaborate, I would say, corpse sequences, where they open up the body bag, and it's just you're like, whoa, what the hell's going on here? This is so weird. Like, what is it? What did you think
know what
of
it
that?
reminded me of? It reminded me of the film Annihilation.
Right. Okay.
When I when they go into the into that force field thing and find all kinds of, and there's a bit in it where they find a body that's kind of melded into the wall. Of the pool. And it just reminded me of that. Obviously, Annihilation came much later. So, but yeah,
it's really funky, and you're just like, what the hell's going on here? Because this is it's quite interesting. And then we get Mulder and our agent, I forget his name, who I've got the guy
Blades.
in the jail cell.
Just call him Ruben Blades.
Yeah, Ruben Blades. They've got the Soledad in the not Soledad. Elanio in the jail cell, and he tells the tale of what happened.
And what's the name of the act? Because he's in prison, but he's got his name, because that's one is a bit of a running gag.
Erika Estrada.
Nobody uses their real names because they're all illegal immigrants. Whenever they sign a piece of paper, it's like Eric Estrada, and it's like, I'm pretty sure that guy's not Eric Estrada. But then by the time this guy's got through telling his story, he's like, he's better than Eric Estrada because he's so dramatic. But it's like, it's genuinely funny, and it's just, again, it's this thing that like back in the office when he reads about 4 names out, and they're all of like famous people. And you're just thinking like, even this guy can't be asked to run these people down because it's just so pointless. Because if 100%. Everyone who comes through your doors gives you a fake name, then you're never going to be able to chase them all down. No. So obviously you would have the attitude of, I'm not going to bother. It's like, it just shows you how pointless and overwhelmed these people are who are in these positions to supposedly police the borders and that. But it's so funny.
And then we get a scene of Elanio getting taken to the truck. But nobody wants him on.
No, El Chupacabra. Yeah. But what that also shows you as well is just how fast stories travel.
Yeah.
Because it's barely been a day with this guy, and already people who've been picked up on the border are already going, no, El Chupacabra.
Yeah. So they end up putting him in the front seat of the van to take him back.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and then we have Scully and Mulder.
They're driving. I think they're following the van, aren't they?
And I love this sequence because it's just like Scully with a straight face is just like natural causes. It was a fungal infection. And I was chuckling something silly at this point because it was so funny, and it's this like, how can you say that out loud?
Isn't it like at first she's talking about athlete's foot?
well, that comes later on, a little bit later on. We see
that
is actually athlete's foot, but.
Yeah, but all over.
All over, yeah. Athlete's body. Yeah. Which is kind of fun. Then we get to the abandoned truck and everybody's just ran away. And the guy with another amazing like prosthetic or whatever it is just the dead bodies in this. The guys who were making it were obviously having a great deal of fun in this one. Yeah.
It just looks really hairy and like like if you've ever pulled a cabinet away from a wall and realised there's a load of mould back there, it's like it just nailed it. But so he's gone on the run basically.
He's gone on the run along with everyone else.
I'm calling him El Nino because I don't know the dude's name. Alanu, what is it? Oh, yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah, Alanio. I'm pretty sure it's Alanio, hopefully. So let's see where we are. So yes, in my notes I had something different because I couldn't pick up his name at the start. I got it near the end because everybody starts calling him it, but all through my notes it's just Mr. Fungus. Elanio goes to the coyote who owns a shop. You know, the guy that kind of transports them.
Yeah. So this is the guy. So we saw him at the beginning, kind of dropping him up, like picking his brother up, didn't he? So he's clearly the guy who every morning comes through the village and gets them across the border.
Yeah.
He'll clearly have papers that allows him to bring some workers over, but he'll have to transport them back at the end of the day. So he wants transportation back because obviously he's gone the other way across the border and now he needs to get back. So
Dinero. That's all he wants is money, isn't it? He just wants money. He's one of those horrible characters, you know, the leeches of society.
Yeah, just a slime bag. Yeah. I mean, he's picking up migrant workers every morning, so that pretty much tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah. So then we've got Elanio going looking for cash at that point. Then we've got Scully telling us that it's actually athlete's foot. Which
just
thing he said,
all over.
Yeah. And then we have kind of Mulder and it should be said that Elanio goes away in somebody's truck to go and get a job. And scares away the rest of the workers.
You see those two workers just like walking off, and the dude's like, "Hey, where you going?" And then he turns down, and he's like, "Guess you'll just have to do." It's like there's like another bunch of blokes there. Like you didn't. He just settled on the one that was in there, and it's like, all right, those two have left. Guys, anyone else?
But at this point as well, he's not looking too healthy. You know, he's
No,
got the,
no. It's just,
I'd be like,
as you can see above your head there on that picture, he's starting to get those boils, which looks very reminiscent of Effie Masculata from season 2.
yeah. But he's sitting in the back and he's like shaking and kind of twitching, and you're like, yeah, maybe
Yeah,
not take him for a manual labour job.
I'd be like, dude, get out of my car right now.
And then we kind of have a kind of sequence where Mulder and Ruben Blades is looking for El Chupacabra. They come across the area. This seems to be the one area where everybody gets picked up, and they need to be there so that they can see the graffiti on the wall. Because as the legend grows,
Yeah.
So, which comes back into play later on again, and then we have Elanio doing the work, and he looks awful.
He does not look fit for work at all.
And like that's
is this where his brother?
Yellow.
Yellow sweat. It's quite grim.
So
but
it kind of takes you back to that.
Salt...
But that yellow takes us back to the start, where just reminding you of the rain, the white light. Something did happen then.
To
alter this person. But like you said, on you go, Soledad.
So Soledad turns up on his mission of vengeance. We can't forget these two guys are brothers.
Yep.
This guy is literally out to kill his brother, or at the very least maim him. And it's all for the sake of a girl that, from everything that I could see, she was a bit of a hussy anyway, because she was she was clearly flirting with this guy. So it's like, cut your losses and run, dude. It's like,
she wasn't so much looking for the one other than the one that was there at the time.
Yeah.
But we get Soledad just kind of, he picks up a metal pipe, he's walking about, he goes to the porta toilet thing, and there's I think my favourite sort of set up death sequence. It just I don't know what it is, but it just looks
I love how he stood outside and he's like, El Niño, come on, so I can have my mission of vengeance. I will avenge you face to face.
But of course, Elanio is just going to run away, steal the car, and drive away. It's good, but I like that dead body in the toilet. I just think it looks so cool.
Grim.
Yeah. So let's see if I can read my notes here. Yes. So Elanio goes to Gabriela to her workplace to try and get some money.
Yeah, so I'm assuming she's doing like housekeeping.
Yeah, because she mentioned something about the lady of the house.
Yeah. So she'll be doing like housekeeping, and so he goes around, and thankfully she doesn't let him in.
Yeah.
Because everything this guy touches turns to athlete's foot. So, but
the next,
she says, "Come meet me at."
The supermarket.
Meet me at the supermarket, and I'll bring you my money. And
but he's like, no, I need it now, and then leaves. Then we have Scully, who's saying that Elanio is spreading a fungus, and that's what's causing all this problems. And this is great because this is when Mulder breaks out the whole space debris thing.
Yes, but this is essentially like, if you connect the dots, certainly by the time we get to the end, this is essentially what we're meant to believe, which is that a little meteorite or piece of rock has come through the atmosphere. That's where the flash of light was. It struck Elanio, infected him with this.
I think what he says is it strikes a body of water, which then causes the water to come up like rain.
Yeah.
It's really stretching. Like like Mulder's just like.
But it's like it's almost like an origin story for the alien greys. Like this is like this is how they invade planets. You send your rock, it sprays this stuff over people, and then they become an alien grey, which is essentially like that's what he's doing across the course of this episode. Like by the time he gets to the end, he's essentially an alien grey. Or
Yeah, but the thing about this sequence I really love is Ruben Blades turns round and says, "So you've got your own stories, do you?"
yeah,
Yeah. Which is just great. It's
Yeah.
like Mulder's own version of the Chupacabra tale, aliens,
yeah.
which is really good. And then we have the truck stop chase sequence, which, can I just say, this was a highlight for me. My sides were sore, Brian, watching this. Honestly, it's like they're chasing Elanio through the truck stop, because obviously the coyote has been bribed or took some money to tell him where they are. And then for no reason whatsoever, someone opens a truck and lets all these Mexicans run out. And it's just while Elanio is there. And it's like a cartoon, where they kind of mix stuff up, and I just found it so ridiculously funny. I don't know why, but
It's just like there's illegal immigrants left, right, and centre.
yeah,
It's like there's more illegals there than there are like legals.
and it's the way they scatter. Like the ones on the right go left, the ones on the left go right. They kind of like.
What I love is how unbelievably lightning fast Elanio is.
Yes.
Because he disappears under this truck.
Yeah.
They carry on watching. And
He
then
must double back.
yeah, so the camera pans up. We see that there's a big gap between this truck and then this one over here. But then he's in the back of it.
Yes.
So it's like, how the hell did he get there?
I absolutely no idea, but I mean, it's a cool shot the way the camera comes up and it's just kind of top down. But you're just like, it didn't happen.
I'm not buying it.
And it just happens to be a goat truck as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's carrying on that El Chupacabra type thing that's going on. So then you get Mulder and Scully going to see Gabriella and talking to her, and they're just like, look, Ruben Blades comes in really heavy.
This is how we do police work over here.
Yeah. He's like almost physically shaking her.
Yeah. It's just, you get the sense that like if Mulder and Scully weren't there, this she'd have a few black eyes.
Yeah. And she says she hasn't seen either of the brothers, and they kind of warn her that like, do not let Elanio in your house. Whatever you do, he's spreading a disease. Do not let him in.
They then go to leave, but Mulder's like, something's not quite right here. I think we need to stake this place out. So they decide to
in between then, we've got Elanio just stuffing his face with nuts. And the really kind of the shop worker that is really kind of just aggressive. Hey, Jose.
Yeah.
You're going to have to pay for those.
Yeah. First he says you got to pay for those, and then when he knocks it all over, it's like you got to come and clean this back up.
And then, look, I don't care. Like I work in a shop, right? And if someone dropped food and suddenly it was covered in mold and gunk, and I'm not touching that.
No,
I don't care.
He picks one of the moldy ones up, and he's like, no.
Yeah. You're like, why are you handling Elenio's furry nuts?
Yeah.
Just like...
I just feel like I'd be getting a scoop for that bad boy, scooping him out and then whacking it in the bin.
Yeah, or a flamethrower and just burning everything. Just fire cures and all. It's just a crazy sequence. So like you said, we go back to Mulder and Scully just watching at the house, and Soledad comes out and drives away, and they follow him.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So where are we now?
So Soledad goes to the supermarket because obviously the lady has told him that's where she was going to meet. That's where she was going to meet his brother to give him the money. So Soledad goes there, swinging a gun around, kind of thing. And then Mulder and Scully get. Now I absolutely love how lax the woman that works on the till in this place is.
Yeah.
Because her manager a manager's been back at the back of the store, growing into a fungal infection.
Yeah.
For goodness knows how long, because he's just decimated half the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And they go in. So Soledad goes in first, and then he sees it, and then Mulder, Scully, and Reuben Blades come in, kind of pull the guns on Soledad, get him to drop the guns, and then they see it. But meanwhile, all four of these people have passed the woman that is working on the till.
Yep.
Just daydreaming.
She's just zombified into the whole beep.
Yeah, she's like, boop, beep, boop. So just, we've all been there. We've all been there. There could be a fire at the other end of the store. You wouldn't know, because you're in that trance. You're in that.
I think the most excited she would be in that case would be like fire, aisle 5. Beep. Yeah, so Mr. Fungus goes to see Gabriella, and after being warned several times about this disease-spreading man, who, let's face it, has looked better, she tells him to come in and look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can see that Elanio's really starting to have a physical change now. Like he's starting to, things are getting a little bit different for him.
Yes, he's halfway between where he was and an alien grey. Like he looks in the mirror and then he's like, no, like prizing his mouth apart.
Yeah, I thought something was going to happen. Like his teeth were going to fall out.
I thought like something was going to come out. Yeah, but.
Yeah. So then the police burst in, Mulder and Scully, and he's already going. And Gabrielle says that she's giving him the money type thing. And in a little conversation, Mulder says these people love their stories. Which I'm just like... and now we get to the kind of fractured finale. And I say fractured because we've got several people telling us the tale of what's going on here.
Which is kind of the point.
Yes.
Because so this ending really isn't... It's not so much the truth as it is people's...
Chinese whispers.
Yeah, it's Chinese whispers. So we get told what the mother saw, but then later we get what... like Gabriella's take on it. So she's blown. I mean, obviously the mother was the only one who was there.
Yeah.
But she didn't even see what went on. She just saw Reuben Blades running off, a flash of lightning, and the next thing she went over and he's dead and everyone else is gone.
Yeah.
So that then gets obviously told to Gabriella. She fills in the blanks and now she's telling a tall tale to people. And it's like, because if you look at what the mother saw, there's a flash of lightning. A few seconds later, she walks up. She finds the cop. But when Gabriella's talking about it, it goes on for about 10 minutes.
There's a spaceship, there's aliens.
Yeah, there's a spaceship, there's aliens. He fires a gun twice. There's a struggle.
Yep.
He's telling El Nino, whatever it is.
Elanio.
He's telling Elanio to turn around. And it's just, it goes on for like, you're just thinking, this is not what the mother saw.
Yeah.
So,
you're never going to get... What I did think was really funny was the fact that Mulder and Scully, after they get Soledad, Reuben Blades must take him back to the correctional facility and Mulder and Scully go on with their investigation. But he doesn't. Yeah. He takes him back to the immigrant town to get revenge. He does, doesn't he?
But why do you think that is? Do you think it's because ultimately he believes the story?
Possibly. It's his community. It's his people.
It's a cultural thing. He's just trying to let them set because he does talk about it later, doesn't he? He does. Not later, sorry, but earlier. We missed a bit when he's talking to Mulder. And he's saying that Soledad is gonna go after his brother for revenge. It's that age old story. 2 guys, 1 girl, trouble. It's something that comes up a few times, and he talks about that. He says, and I think he's talking about it from a cultural perspective. Like in our culture, you do that to you take your brother's wife or your brother's girlfriend, vengeance must be had. So I don't know. Maybe this is just
I mean, he's literally there like a referee. Bring it.
Yeah,
he's got the gun up
do
and he's like, Lanio, come out here and get your vengeance.
But also, we do have to consider this is how Gabriella is telling the story.
Yeah, or the mother. Like, all we know is the cop ends up dead.
Yeah, the cop ends up dead. Yeah, like when we see it, it happens like that. He chases after him, and boom, there's a flash of lightning, and he's dead. So, but it's just, why did he take the brother there? Like, maybe he took the brother there to have them make up, or maybe he took him there to try and get Soldad to lead Elanio out, to try and convince him to give himself up. We don't know. No. But the point is, that is the point. Like, we get these tall tales of things like El Chupacabra and things like that, and they're born out of people's need and desire to make sense of things that are actually far more mundane, but
and in the natural human tendencies to embellish, to make a story more enjoyable and fun. So anyway, after that, we get to Skinner's office for the debrief. Love it. Yeah.
I love how we go from the picture of the El Chupacabra on the wall, and it blends with Skinner's face.
Yes. Yeah. You're talking about the alien one on the
the alien on the wall.
But that's good as well, because that shows that the aliens have become part of the Chupacabra lore because of the story that Gabrielle is telling. You know, the aliens Skinner becomes a grey. My favourite part of this is the whole Scully. It was an enzyme. This is the scientific fact behind it. Yeah. Skinner's like, where did it come from? And Mulder's just outer space.
Outer space.
Outer space. Skinner's just like, have I put that in a report?
Yeah. It's like,
come on.
Give me something more, guys. Come on.
And then we get the realization that these guys could still be on the run. They don't know, but they could still be on the run. And they're like, these guys are invisible. They just blend in. And then we see two of the most standout characters we've ever seen hitchhiking down the road with these large, elongated heads, mutated beyond belief. And you're like, these guys just blend in, do they? Yep.
Cool. But then we get a reiteration from Mulder about the reason these people aren't seen is because, quite simply, no one cares.
I'm pretty sure people are caring if they see these guys.
But the point is, this is a people group that no one cares about, so that's why they're so easy to evade capture all the time. So, there we go. End of.
Yeah, and it's another one of those episodes where you're not actually sure if any of this actually happened, or if it even happened in the way that, I'm pretty sure the people involved were there, but everything else could be completely nonsense. Even the ending of it, because it is a ridiculous ending. Like
I think it would have benefited actually from not only having the mother and Gabriella telling the story from their perspective, but having Mulder and Scully telling the story from their perspective to Skinner. To have scenes with that Skinner in the office throughout. Have that throughout, but have Mulder and Scully telling it from there, so that all the information then becomes, well, this is just this is what they saw, and they're trying to meld it together. So none of it really makes sense, but it kind of does, only because they're embellishing. And it would have fed into that folklore angle a lot more.
It's that Scully do that. The final 30 seconds that really kind of tease off, because it's like, these people are invisible. They fade into the background. Nobody notices them. Then it cuts to two of the most ridiculous looking aliens. and I think it does it for a purpose. Just to show this, how ridiculous these stories can become. Because, what the immigrants are saying is that they changed into chupacabras and went hitchhiking.
But why does nobody ever see El Chupa? If they're that, if they're that common enough to get a folklore tale about them, why does no one ever?
Yeah,
catch them
So
in broad daylight.
it makes me think, did any of this really happen? Did it not? Who knows? Yeah. So, El Mundo Gira, we already know your thoughts. Worst episode, number 217th. I rather enjoyed this one. I thought the effects were standout. I really, every time they went to a dead body, it was wonderful. I liked a lot of the playful nature in this. And I liked, sometimes the silliness can be grating in these episodes. But like Soledad and his little revenge story is so ludicrously over the top that I was giggling watching it. You know,
and again, and I think that's intentional, because there's a moment in this episode where we see, I can't remember what you called him. So the guy who was picking him up.
The coyote.
The coyote. So there's a moment when we see him and he's watching a Mexican soap opera.
Yeah.
And it's one of them soap operas where it's, big emotions and like...
Telemundo.
Yeah. So... and I think they show that for a reason. And I think it's because the vengeance story in this, it's a bit large. It goes to number 11.
It's very tropey. And it's typical
yeah.
of any story.
Yeah.
So it's like silly, but it all fits in. There's a kind of playful tone along this one that I really enjoyed. Now, I would like to see it again at some point because I want to see how it sits a second time. But just now, I really enjoyed this one, and I'd probably give it like a really solid 4 out of 5.
Right.
I was withering between 3.5 and 4, but I really did enjoy a lot of this one.
Yeah. I'm going to go with a 3.5 out of this.
Right.
I do think it gets a bit muddled at the end, and as we've said, to an extent that is intentional.
Yeah,
but it's also unsatisfying in many ways as a result. But no, it's refreshing to revisit something that for so long I'd had such a strongly held opinion about.
Yep,
and to go back and be proven totally wrong. I sat down to watch this and I was not looking forward to it because I was just going off my memory. I was like, let's just get this over and done with. And in case anybody's noticed, I haven't been talking us through this episode today. Graham's been doing it. We went off Graham's notes. And that's because I didn't make any notes this time around. It's because I so did not want to do this episode purely because of my memory of it. And I didn't want to sit there pausing and taking notes. I just wanted to watch it, get it over with, and then boom. So I'll let Graham do the notes. But as I watched it, I was like, oh, there's Mulder and Scully. There's Mulder and Scully again. That bit was funny. This story is actually quite intriguing. These characters are pretty funny. Oh, this Ruben Blades dude, I like it. And I was just like, what the hell was I smoking? Like, why are my memories of this so skewed?
Maybe you had really bad athlete's foot at the time and it just started.
It's just weird. It really is. Let that be a lesson to you. Memory can be a frightful thing. But yeah, no, it's a really solid episode. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. And I will not skip it the next time I'm doing a run through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those times you have just bypassed it and sat through Fearful Symmetry or Dodge Cam.
Oh man, good grief! It's nice though because it was like watching an episode I'd not seen before.
Yeah.
So it was quite nice to sit down and watch an episode that was actually this. It felt quite fresh.
Right. So tell me a little bit about Leonard Betts.
Right. So
second
Leonard
worst
Betts,
ever. I never watched this.
No, Leonard Betts is a really good Freak of the Week episode.
Ooh. It's been a while.
It's about a guy who eats cancer.
Sold.
It gets quite disgusting in parts. And it has... Well, I won't say. I'm going to leave that. But it's quite an important episode. It's not only is it a Freak of the Week episode, but it's quite an important episode in regards to certain things. So it's it's a good one. It guest stars Paul McCrane, who you'll know as the guy from RoboCop who gets covered in acid.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Help me. Help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to Leonard Betts next. Hope you enjoyed this episode, like Brian and I did. It was a bit of a surprise, which is always
Yeah.
welcome,
Yeah.
because that may have played into this watch as well. Expectations being as low as what they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it could be one that goes down a little bit on a rewatch, but hey, we'll see. So thanks for joining along with us and watching El Mundo Gira. Can't wait for next week where we watch Leonard Betts. Hopefully that'll be another good one because we seem to be on a run just now. And
Season 4, with the exception of The Field Where I Died and Tellico, has been pretty spot on.
yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems to hit their groove. So
Yeah.
we'll see you next week for our next episode. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Yeah.